what's going on, y'all?
What the fuck, man?
Why do you always say the F word?
But that's the name of the show tonight. So what the fuck, man? I got good reason to say it, too.
Why?
Man, we're just going to talk about it as we go. Some stupid fucking people that we found around here. The most insane box I've ever seen in my life. It's just a what the fuck, man week.
Is it one of those weeks?
It is just that
Okay,
damn week.
I've had one of those weeks last week. I hope I am done with that shit, man.
I hope this new time slot helps. I mean, I know it's going to be new and probably we'll have a lower viewership tonight with the first one, but just like we built up the last one, this one will build up. We peaked over 111 live viewers on our old time slot. Moving to this one just takes the folks time to get used to.
Yeah, I think this is better for me. I like this Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. It's not late in the week. I'm not wore out. I'm not drained down.
Absolutely.
Not trying to get shit in order for Friday.
And I don't like, I didn't like getting home at 10:30.
I didn't either, to be honest with you.
Fuck it, dude. I'm so glad we pushed it back an hour. So hopefully it helps some of you guys over there on the West Coast, or hope it didn't hurt too many guys over there on the West Coast, but help the East Coast some. So it's not so late.
Well, thanks, Josh. We worked on that intro for a while, man. We hope it played. I think it finally played perfect tonight.
I don't know. I know we've tried 6 or 7 times now with an intro. How did it go? Did it play through? Was there any echo? Could you hear us talking behind it? We was talking shit about a bunch of folks. Some of you guys might have heard of this. So how did that just play? How did it go? What do you think? Other than that, what are you guys vaping tonight?
Yeah, well, good deal. Adam Miller says it played great. And that's not me, by the way. That's the other Adam Miller.
What the fucking irony. And then, the contest that he won.
I know.
Or, when he was building the box. Just what are the odds of the double Adam Miller? I love it.
He was born in 79. I love it, man.
Love it. Absolutely love it. I hadn't heard nobody say what they're vaping tonight, so I'll go ahead and talk. Actually, what are you vaping? I'm going to go last.
My Boss 3000 box. Ball mill number 218. Man, you know what tank I got on it.
Oh yeah.
I'm so hung up on that crown.
He's got his crown
I'm
tank.
sorry. I wish I wasn't hung up on the crown, but it's a great fucking tank.
And I'm sure you're in temp control, aren't you?
Of course I am.
540 what? 40 degrees. See, I just know this guy. I just know it. 540 degrees crown tank, man. It just never changes. Always. Now this tank.
Hey man, you find something that works, dude. I'm sorry.
I guess, man. But if you ever stop experimenting, then you stop finding shit new.
I experiment all day, but when we do a show and I sit down really ready to get work or
back to the damn crown tank.
Back to you will. In fact, the tank you got is one I've been kind of toting around for a couple of weeks.
I got a bias against this tank that I haven't even told you about before you gave me this tank.
Well, go ahead,
I've
man.
never vaped this tank until just a little while ago. I don't vape this tank. I don't like this tank. And it's kind of a personal reason, because this is the tank my ex-wife vapes. I don't even know who. It's the BFT, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen to this. Listen what Adam Miller's vaping on. Boss 3000 crown tank with some pound cake by glass, one of my favorite fucking juices.
It just never stops.
I love it, man.
If he had a wife named Lisa, some strange shit in this world would just be happening. Like multi-dimensional type shit. We would have to meet this guy to know he was even real.
Yeah, fucking David Star Shadows on the Boss 3000, Mod Father, Apocalyptic. The Fogger Big, says Brandon. The Fogger Big 5.0. Please, God, Brandon, tell me you are not really using that piece of shit rebuildable, man. If you're using that rebuildable, man, go back and watch my damn review. I'm pretty sure you watched my review if you call it the Fogger Big. Christina says her usual. She did not rise to the challenge, man.
She didn't. And
she's on the Glacier V2, Hexon box.
Hexon box. And
What was the juice?
Juice changes from time to time.
Yeah, she usually has a dumb blonde or something like that. Is that what she's doing? She'll answer in a minute, I'm sure.
I got something special. I want to talk a little bit about it when we get to it. But in here we got some. Man,
what are you thinking about the tank right now?
Tank
besides the ex-wife.
Well, I would say just like my ex-wife, it leaks like a fucking bitch. Okay, because as soon as we go to fill it up, it poured straight the fuck out the bottom. So probably much like my ex-wife. But once it stops leaking, it's a good vape. I mean, I'm running it. I don't know what is the build here. We got a 0.34 build, 127 watts there. It's a little warm. I'm gonna turn that down.
Yeah,
but
so on that high build, 127 is good. I vaped that tank in general right at 100. That build was like perfect at 100 for me, man.
But we got something special here, and I love the gunmetal because it works so great. And you guys have got to see this.
Let me see your thing over here, man. We'll give you a little focus. Sorry, y'all. I got to drag on my shit around here. Here we go.
Just take that.
Let's get focus going.
We've got what, in my opinion, is probably the prettiest, most amazingly gorgeous Boss 3000 serial number XXX. But on here, I've got Ganesha. I spent a lot of time as a Buddhist. I left the goofy shit behind and took the stuff that was important and carried along in life. But even as beautiful as it is on the outside, on my Facebook page a little while ago, I actually posted a worldwide challenge. Pretty good reach. I got about 3,500 friends on there, and I challenged every one of them to find a box that was cleaner than that. I would challenge any modder, any builder, any company, any multi-million-dollar organization, anybody who builds DNA 200 boxes to find something cleaner than that. Something anywhere even remotely close to that. So, back to the front door. Designed the front door myself. Adam's got a phenomenal laser engraver who just happens to be 2 doors down. I did the design myself off Ganesha. Got a pretty special connection to Ganesha from years past. And that is, in my opinion, this box, the one in my hand, is probably the most well-made DNA 200 that has ever been built.
Man, I appreciate that, dude.
I mean every word of it.
I'm
not
not
saying that
y'all
because
can go back and watch their videos. When JC doesn't like some of my build, he says, I don't
it's like your juice.
It's
I
like
can't
my
fucking
juice. He
stand
doesn't
it.
like my juice. And
But
he doesn't bullshit about it. He doesn't bullshit me or you about it. And,
It is
I'm
amazing.
really proud of. I'm really proud of the box, man.
It is amazing, and you know, like, you know, and I know you put a lot of effort in this, but they're only going to get better. I mean, you know, like even if you take, and we talked about this earlier. Now there are companies out there with, you know, high-level machining equipment. Let me get this tank off. High-level machining equipment. Get back on the focus. Look at the 510 there. We're literally talking about less than 1,000th from flush. I mean, that's like CNC fucking grade level machine work, all done by hand. All 100% done by hand. I mean, you know, the craftsmanship's amazing, and you've built, what, about 70 of these, 60 of these so far?
60s right now.
You know, and it's only going to continue evolving. And we'll talk about the DNA 200 or the DNA 75 chip.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little while.
And because it's coming in that when they ever get their shit together on it, and some of the other stuff. So that's what I'm vaping. And
looks like we got all kind of people vaping all kind of stuff.
But you know, I haven't used the Crazy Cloud in a while. And what the fuck?
What's that, man?
Some shit.
What's up, Scott?
Man, I got something I want to goddamn say.
Look, I don't fucking appreciate that.
Well, I'm sorry.
Some shit fell. You paying for it?
Come on, man.
I can. Look,
All right.
I want, and everybody knows who I'm talking about, so y'all can tell them to watch this video.
Okay.
These son gun stores around here, they're selling iJust kits for $90 and stuff like that, ripping everybody off.
What's this got to do with us, man?
Well, because I got them coming in my store bitching and raising hell with me. And everybody knows I don't like your ass, and I don't like your ass.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to go in business with his ass, put these people out of business.
What's up, man? Grab a seat.
Some shit's finna
Let's
go
calm
down.
down. Let's
Throw
sit
my
down,
food
man.
down.
What the fuck? Scott, get your
Special
chair. Come
guest
sit down
Scott
with us.
Stone for tonight. We might even have another special guest coming in. Hey, Pam. Is Pam still out there? She didn't warn us Scott was coming in. Thanks a lot, honey. You got something to sit on?
Oh, no.
Grab your stool, come in. Or get Scott to grab you one if he ain't too damn lazy. Here we go. Y'all pull up back here.
We got company.
Got Pam Robbins from Voluptuous. Scott's busting up in the house. Brought me a drink. That's good. You're a good man, Scott. I'm going to stop listening to everybody that says you're a shithead. Well, it's pretty much everybody. You want this?
Yeah, I
You want me
might
to just
need
hold it for you? Have your cup holder now?
It's got a little alcohol in it, so you know.
So tell us, before we get on the Scott kick here, Pam, what you got going on tonight, honey?
Just finished up at the gym.
Pam is like a gym warrior, y'all. If you don't know that, that's all this woman does is stay in the gym.
Well, you can ask Scott. He seen me last year at Baking the Coast. Was I not in a wheelchair at Baking the Coast last year?
For what?
Because
I don't know if she's
literally,
faking or not.
I literally could not walk over 100 feet.
Really?
Yeah. So between the arthritis in my knees and the fibromyalgia and just being so much overweight, I literally could not walk
I
over
gotta tell you, I
100 feet.
see Pam every day, so you know, and I've known Pam since about the first year. I hadn't really, like, I wouldn't ever think like Pam's really changed a lot. Kind of like just to see her every day. But she showed me some pictures today from like January the 1st till now. I was in fucking shock.
They wasn't nude,
I
were
was
they?
in shock.
I
Well,
will tell you.
almost.
I was in a
You know,
swimsuit. I was
and-
in a swimsuit.
Oh, yeah, Pam was working her ass off.
I want, you know, I don't know Pam on a personal level, but just, you know, seeing Pam from time to time in and out of here, and me kind of starting to get into the juice game and playing a little bit, when it comes to dedication to something, drive, focus, just looking at Pam's line expand into what's popular, into
she's
competing
on it,
with
yeah.
national
How many
brands.
flavors you got now?
I mean,
40?
it's unbelievable. Pam, your work ethic is. I mean, my ADHD wouldn't let me do anything close to what you do.
I think she's the only local juice company that actually has
She's
a
the only-
lab that is not like
North
next door to
Mississippi,
their
yeah.
bathroom.
Oh,
In
no,
North
Pam-
Mississippi, Pam is the only person with a lab, and the only other company I know in Mississippi actually has a certifiable, not certified necessarily, but a certifiable lab.
guys.
Huh?
The Wolf guys up in Corinth.
I don't know them, to be honest
The-
with you. I
the-
was
the
talking
co-packer.
about Jim Sharon from Apocalyptic and Camelot. He's actually got a nice lab.
I think the rest of them do it like in the bathroom or something.
Yeah, yeah. that's-
No,
I'm
no.
not-
No, we're not gonna say that, but yeah.
I will.
Yeah,
then.
most people do it in their house. You know what I mean? Well, talk about so what's up with this? What's up with this potential new partnership with some asshole in Pontotoc, man?
Well, I'm so tired of customers coming in and being mad because they go to another store and they pay these outrageous,
Happens every day, man. We had somebody come in here the other day, pay $85 for IGS 2.
Wholesale cost on those is what?
Huh?
How wholesale cost on those?
$13.
$13.
$13.
and I realize you got to pay your light bills, you got to pay,
800% markup though?
but you ain't got to rip people off.
No way.
And
Absolutely.
I live by this. And you remember this, JC, when I opened up there selling starter kits in Memphis,
Absolutely.
650
Yeah.
milliamp starter kits
650 milliamp hour
for
egos.
$99.99.
Just a single ego with a clearomizer, like a CE4
And I
clearomizer.
I opened up with a 1100 milliamp battery,
Mhm.
and I sold them for 29.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
The
And you ain't gotta rip people off.
well, it's like people, like we're gonna be at the flea market this weekend. I'm gonna be there Saturday to help Adam out and spend some
Well,
time.
real
and hang
quick,
with
why don't
folks.
you, what, Pam's coming with us this weekend.
Yep, Pam's gonna be
You
there
gonna
this
be there all
weekend.
day?
I'm gonna be there all,
Sweet.
90%
Y'all
of
come
the
check
day.
us out if you're in the area.
I'm coming to
come
get a
check us
finger
out.
mark.
But the point I'm making with the flea market is, there are other vape places that would set up at the flea market, and just like you said, they would sell a CE2 clearomizer on a 600 milliamp hour ego battery.
And they
they
do
would
it for
sell that
$40
to
or
folks.
$50, yeah.
Oh no,
You think it'd be
60 or
more?
$70.
Oh, really?
This was $60 or $70, and you're
That's
talking
unreal.
about wholesale costs of $5 or $6 on things like that.
$2.79
Well, this was
is
a year
what you
ago.
buy a
This was a year
CE4
ago.
blister pack
This
for
was
now.
a year. This was a year.
With
ago.
the extra cartridge.
Yep.
Or clear miser, rather.
It's just, it's just one thing that really irritates me in the industry is seeing companies and businesses out there who are doing this to people and doing this to customers. And I'm glad to see folks like Adam and Scott.
So there's some
teaming
companies
together
around here
to
doing
say
that.
fuck
So
it, because
you know,
you can't
me
stay in
and Scott,
business.
we've been talking for a few weeks, and we're kind of sitting around. Actually, Scott came out of the house the other day. He's actually on other businesses out there looking at the old street glide, which has been riding. But anyway,
And you've been driving my old car, and I
yeah,
wish I'd have never
we got all
fucking
mixed
sold.
up vehicle situation right
I'm
now. But me and
always
Scott got to talking. We said, hey man, we kind of got to talking this. There's people coming in the shop saying they're spending $80, $90 on some bullshit kits. We said, hey, I got enough stock in here. Scott, you got some extra display cabinets and stuff. Why don't we just get this shit together and start a new shop in Tupelo?
Why not?
Right out by the mall, and just let people see what you can get for your money.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it'll
do
be
that.
just like his store and my store. I guarantee what's sold out there.
Yep.
I mean,
glad
that's
to
the
see
other
it.
thing. I mean, people go spend when they do spend this $80. I had somebody in there the other day. David called me about. They spent $80 or $90 on a iDust kit and had it for like 2 weeks. And it didn't work no more. They couldn't.
And Tupelo, people will think, okay, now this will be what, 3 vape shops, 4 vape shops in Tupelo, 5 vape shops in Tupelo. People. But
yeah,
but
two's been
this-
shut down.
There'll be actually 4 at the time, but you got to
Yeah.
look at it this way. It's not like a 5-minute drive to get from one side of Tupelo to the other when you're going through the mall area.
well, there's 2
I've got-
on what? On the southwest corner, there's 2. There's you and Druthers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then on the northeast corner,
Is
you got
Vaporized.
Vaporwise and your
No.
South Philly shop, right?
Yeah, and when there's red something that just opened up.
Red Cloud.
I'm not
Vapor,
really
they're
sure where it's at.
mid-
Yeah,
now.
I think it's one of those. It's
But-
one of those shops we were talking about.
It's,
Well, yeah.
it's just putting a shop over in the mall area that has that pricing philosophy. And that's something that's needed on that side of town. And I'm so glad to see
Yeah,
it
something
happen.
personable. Some people come in and get good info and feel like they're welcome.
Well,
Absolutely.
I can sell an Eskimo ice water.
Yeah.
And one thing my guys know is that we teach. We don't just. I can sell you that, but if you don't know what it's doing
right.
and how it's doing it and why it does this and why it does that, then all I do is sell you something. And I mean, we got to educate
Yep,
educate the people so they can educate the other people.
Yep.
But two, educated people so they don't blow themselves up. They know why sometimes they get a burnt taste, or they know why, just different things.
Yeah,
that y'all
knowing
do.
what to do with your device, so you're not constantly coming in thinking you need to buy a new one.
You know,
know
and
what
I
mean?
just
and
found
enjoy
out-
your experience.
I
And
just
help you
found
quit
out-
smoking.
Yep. I just found out about this shop today, so this is something I didn't know about.
We've
And I'll
kept
tell
this
you-
pretty hush hush
You know,
right
and,
now.
and I'll tell you, I'm glad to be, kind of giving an opinion on air about it, because there are certain business philosophies that you have that work really, really well, and there are certain philosophies that you have that work really, really well. And I think you two teaming up on that side of town with the highest traffic, the most foot traffic, the most driving
And
traffic.
every Friday night at 7 p.m. will be the boxing match.
The boxing match. Yeah, that's right.
Some of y'all know how me and Scott met. Was not the greatest time. I gotta say, Scott, I'm
No.
honored to be going with you, bro.
It was
Yeah.
quite an experience.
I'm happy to see that on that side of town.
I'll
And I
just
think
hope-
it'll work well.
I'm gonna be proud, man. I'm glad we're getting over there. And like I say, this is gonna take us. I think our time schedule's been like 4 to 8 weeks is what we're looking at. I mean, we'd like to, in 2 months, we'd like to be totally open, have everything rolling by then. So, I mean, we're thinking maybe 4. We're going to try it though. You got a lot of hands on deck. got
Adam said he
Stephen
wanted a
Burns.
good-looking person in there, and I was like, well, I'm already running maze. I can't be over there too.
So we thought we'll shave Jamie.
Yeah.
good looking.
Hell,
Anyway.
you told me about it.
So,
But but
we'll
look
have
at
something else over there.
The first couple of months, maybe have price. This is just me thinking out loud. Maybe have prices a little lower to drive
Oh,
some
trust
bullshit
me.
off.
The opening day will be a day to
Well, I
remember.
got to tell y'all, if anybody knows Scott, and I'm sure all y'all Nomads know me, every morning I get up, I think life's a battle. I was born for this shit.
Ready to
I
fight.
love
It
it.
says scrap dog right there on the
Yeah,
door.
I mean, it's 2 men that was born for this, and I couldn't think of a better person to be going into business with that's got my
I
same
agree.
mindset that we can just and let's not pretend here. Me and Scott have talked about this before. There's gonna be times me and Scott butt heads because we're both alphas, but at the end of the day, what you're gonna get out of it, the people in the local area, y'all are gonna get one badass shot from 2 people that know what they're talking about, that hire people that know what they're doing, that are not trying to rip you off. So y'all make sure to come visit us, man.
And I think we talked about Pam's juice will be.
Oh, Pam's Juice is going to be front and center. I'll go ahead and tell y'all this. Y'all may or may not know this. You can check out our website, vaporizednomads.com. I'm sure all y'all know that by now. Say it enough. Pam's Juice accounts for 30% of our inventory, and Pam's sitting right here to back me up on this. We literally order juice from Pam every single day of the week.
Restock.
That's the
Pretty
way that Pam's Juice sells. She
'Cause
got
it's good juice.
phenomenal flavors. She takes her time. She doesn't just come up here with juice and throw it out and start bottling it up. She comes up here, she tries 2, 3, 4, however many it takes till she gets it right and nails it. And man,
I bought this bottle 2 days ago.
You should have done vape 2 of them then.
I mean, I vape 5 juices at a time.
You do
I bought
5
this
juices?
2 days ago. That's how good this new Captain is. I mean, this stuff
Captain
is
and berries, man, shit is on point.
absolutely amazing.
On point.
Well, see, that
No
one's
doubt.
been around for a while.
Oh man, we
You
got to
just
talk
hadn't-
about those 2 new
hadn't had
flavors. I can get them in here.
What's
I
that
think.
box you got?
Did you bring your facial in today?
No, I didn't bring any facial or any
The
PMS.
PMS and the facial. I
Yeah.
love it.
Take the door off.
Yeah.
But
I saw it
those
when
are
it being
my age and older. Y'all remember having cucumber mint mask, face mask, for your acne and all that kind of stuff? Well, Lisa said, make me a cucumber mint.
So is it for your mouth acne?
No. No.
She
but,
made a
I mean,
cucumber mint and called it facial, which is fine by itself.
Yeah.
But when you
Yo,
put
no,
it
I'm
next to the
obese.
bottle, when you put it next to the bottle of juice that says PMS, which has a white label and red blood writing on it,
Yeah.
so you got PMS and facial.
So,
Can we get one with tampon next? Oh, we got the top. I look like a tampon.
That's
Well-
a little cotton puff on it. Yeah, for building your RDA.
oh, y'all are crazy.
Y'all are insane.
I told her when she first did that, I said you should like hot glue a string to the stopper and to the bottle so it won't lose its stopper.
Unbelievable.
Anyway,
But PMS is peaches,
so
mangoes, and strawberry.
this next weekend we're gonna be at the flea market.
This weekend, not next
I'm
weekend.
sorry,
This weekend,
this
Saturday.
upcoming weekend I should put it. We
Friday,
actually
Saturday,
got
Sunday.
2 spots in building 3 right on the rail. Scott's gonna be there with his new finger monkey. JC will be there signing
Bye bye,
autographs
finger monkey.
and
My
giving
wife
goatee
will
experience.
murder me.
Questions? Huh?
I've already been told.
Amanda, he already said he's gonna buy a finger monkey. I didn't want to rat you out, man.
What
but
is
I
a
hope
finger
she's
monkey?
watching.
Man, you ever seen
You
there's
ever seen
badass
monkeys
dudes
that
that
are
are
like this tall? Yeah, they're
They're
little.
only
They're little monkeys, and you can
$3,600.
teach them to vape, man.
Really?
I know. I don't know about that.
I-
We'll try.
Anything's up.
I mean, I had a sugar glider played hide and go seek.
Anyway.
No, I thought it was really cool last.
Hey, just real quick, I was going to tell y'all, I see some people saying the feed's skipping.
Yeah,
Just looking right here, our
we have
feed
no
look
drop-
great, man. We got
we have
no
no
drop
drop
frames
frames.
at all.
So it's got to be
Still running
YouTube.
wide open, running 50 megs a second here. Actually 52 right now. So
Yeah.
you should have a clean 1080p. If you're
Yeah.
having a feed
They
problem,
don't-
you probably need a refresher.
Yeah, just give it a refresh.
I'm telling you, your connection's fucked up. Refresh your page.
He
So-
Googled it.
So let's talk about some things that we got coming to the shop real quick, because I know
Yeah.
you were always real big on the Moonshot RTA.
Huge, and I brought
I've
mine.
always been, and Scott, I actually talked to David the other
That
day. He said
Moonshot
opposite
badass.
over there. He said y'all sell a lot of RTAs in Tupelo when you get them in, and
thank
we
you.
don't. We've never been able to sell RTAs really well. Having said that, I went ahead and got the Moonshot and
That
Limitless.
moonshot is a bad.
The
Oh,
Moonshot and the
the Moonshot on
Limitless,
the
those will
Pico?
both be in stock tomorrow. If they
Beast.
sell well, we'll get some more. I did a review video on this week. I think, Scott, you've seen these a couple of times. And I am running the Theorem. Look, I try to give the Theorem another chance. I'm trying to give it a chance.
Man.
I'm still not sold on
Have
it.
you
Suck
got to
my
where the
mind.
glass don't get hot yet?
No, I'm still not sold on it. But for the purpose of this, it's cool. It works well on here. This 50-watt Lotus mod, and this is something I always said, and I've been saying, I'm not going to put it up too close. Y'all can check out the full review on this thing on Vaporized Nomad's review channel, but it's a 50-watt adjustable, 8 to 50 watts Lotus jelly twist. Look, it's not going to replace your 120-watt mods. It's not going to replace your
It's
temp
not
control
supposed to.
mods.
But
But what
I'm
it is,
I'm
it
gonna
fills
tell
a
you.
niche in the market for people that want a tube mod.
I am impressed with Lotus, and this is the reason why.
Come
Because
back. They probably come back.
all of us remember Lotus was freaking junk.
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, I threw the Lotus rep out of my store, told him to get, and they've really turned their game around.
They have.
Well, used to, the only place you could get Lotus that would carry them
Hey,
was a cigarette store.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
that's
tell
it.
you that them Lotus tanks. That's all I use.
Those
now.
Lotus Legends are
That
good.
Lotus,
I love them.
I still, even though I'm a rebuildable tank guy to the
Now
core,
Hercules is still the
hang on.
best tank.
You lost your fucking mind.
I don't give a
I am to the core a rebuildable tank guy, but when it comes to a flavor tank, I don't think anything, and I mean this, anything beats the Lotus Mini.
Well, the
I really
Lotus
don't.
Mini is just sick, dude. And it looks so perfect on these right here. They actually designed that black Lotus Mini to go on this right
Well, I
here.
mean, and
And
great quality.
this is a nice, well-built mod. It's got a really
With
nice
a
switch
really
in it.
shitty addy on it.
But you may tell you know me tell where they
Y'all
messed
put
up on
something
that.
else
They
on
didn't.
it.
They should have made it password.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. I don't know if you watched my review. That's the one bad mark I gave this. It's still got Ego-style charging on it, so you have to screw in the top, which obviously you don't get fast through charging with that. That's the one complaint I got about this. If they had just went down here and popped the USB port
You
in
may
it,
tell you
man.
what I'm
I
scared
will
of.
say this though, Scott. In the long term, that Ego style charging is a lot more dependable than a
Well,
USB
because
charging
everybody
port.
else messes them up. They jam them in there. They snatch
Exactly.
them
I
out.
mean, we had a woman come in today. You know, it's been you bend them, you crimp them right, and you got to get them fixed.
I
And
have
they're
to-
not always fixable.
I probably have a dozen broke micro USB cords at the house.
But
You know, where I bend them, twist them,
I
plug
tell you,
them in upside
what
down.
I'm scared and everybody needs to be looking for, and I'm going to be very picky about. I'm probably going to order test mod
Yeah.
because you know that everybody in the world's going to throw stuff together real quick to try and throw it in the market.
Absolutely.
And I think we're
Exactly.
fixing to see a bunch of bullshit.
You talking about the Boss 3000?
Well, no, but I mean, you know what I'm saying. There's
No, I
gonna be
agree.
some, and it's gonna be some good companies. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I don't. I love Kanger, but Kanger. I mean,
Well, the reason that's going to happen is between now and August 8th.
yep.
It's got to be out. So you're
Gotta
going
be
to
on the
see
U.S. market.
a flood of shit going to hit between here and August 8th. Just to have an invoice, to have sold a few of them,
Yep.
just to have had it announced, to have had it marketed, and the amount of juice that's going to hit the market, that'll be just absolute trash. Just to have been able to sell it after
You know what
August.
my
The
my
amount
first
of mods,
question is when juice
addies-
company calls me?
What's that?
Where do you see yourself in 2 years?
There you go.
If they say, I click.
I tell you where I see us in 2 years. The same place everybody else is going to be. Either we're going to get the amendments passed to keep us all in business, or we're going to all be belly up.
I disagree. I'm gonna
it's
be
a black
I'll be
market.
in jail because
Yeah.
I.
Black market.
I say we're going to be in business. Me and Scott just had this conversation today. We've had it over the past couple of weeks because obviously
The FDA
we don't want to start something that's going to last 48 months.
And they don't
No,
have,
or
there's
24
no
months.
enforcement agencies.
Or-
I'm telling well, I'm gonna tell you this too. Before Amazing Vapors gets a tobacco license,
Yeah.
they'll handcuff me and take me to jail. I'm not gonna do it.
When
Yeah.
is that required by?
Never in
24
Amazing-
months. 24 months from August. 8th.
Never in Amazing Vapors.
Well, I was I was wondering about that. You know, when we're going to be required to go and get that tobacco
Because,
license.
because I'm gonna get me. I got a good lawyer, Moffitt, and I'm just gonna be like,
You know,
tell
we'll
him to
talk
come in
about-
here and find me
We'll
some.
talk about advocacy
tobacco.
for just a minute. Let me see who this is real
Lisa,
quick.
this
guys.
is Lisa.
Okay, you do. Come on in, Lisa. Let me go tell her come on in. We got a full house. We got
Because
some
I
more
just
here.
don't. I don't. No, there's no tobacco in my store, so.
You know, it's just so irresponsible trying to classify e-cigs as a tobacco product.
You know, I think them trying to classify it as tobacco makes me madder than some of the stupid regs they're trying
because
to
the
do.
whole point is to get away from tobacco, to get away from the carcinogens, to get away from the things that are killing you. And that actually leads me towards something. I did a lot of research this week, and I used sources that were not vape related because I didn't want this the conclusion I come to be biased from, you know, the majority of the research being from vape places or vape studies. So initially I was looking at how much nicotine is actually in a cigarette. The
It's
answer
more
to
than
that
tomato.
question, the actual answer to that question is somewhere between 8 and 20 milligrams. On average, there's 12 milligrams of nicotine in a cigarette. Now, for years, people have been saying there's only 2 or 3 milligrams in a cigarette. But after I saw a list, they tested it. It was over in Hong Kong. They did a test of literally every brand of cigarette you could find. Now, of that average of 12 milligrams that was in a cigarette, your lungs, because the size of a particle off of a cigarette, off of the smoke of a cigarette, was 1 micron. And the lungs' ability to absorb that, the actual average absorption was about 0.8 milligrams out of 12. Okay, so really, really low absorption.
All right.
Okay? Now, hang on, look at this.
I got a question
Now,
for
then you go over to the vape side. Okay, so say on average, one cigarette you're absorbing 0.8 or just under 1 milligram of nicotine. You're smoking a pack and a half a day. That averages out to actual absorption of about 16 milligrams of nicotine a day. So now you take the average person, and then I looked over at vape research that had been done, independent studies, not vaping companies, to see how the absorption rate was for vapor. Well, the particles in vapor are something in the ballpark of 30 times larger than the particle
You
in
sit in my
cigarette.
lap, Lisa.
No. No.
So hey to everybody.
Hey to everybody.
We got a full house tonight.
Absolutely.
Well, this is my question for
Well,
you.
hang on, let me get the question.
Yeah, hurry up.
So the particle
One
out of a
hour, that's all we
vape
got.
is somewhere in the neighborhood about 30 times larger than the particle off of a cigarette smoke. Therefore, they figured and calculated 3 years ago the absorption rate of nicotine inhaled was somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30% of what you would get off of a cigarette. Okay, so imagine over a 5-minute vaping session. Okay. So over a 5-minute vaping session, you are actually absorbing about a third of the nicotine you would off of smoking for that same 5 minutes. Okay. So I did the math, figured out an average person like this fucker right here using a Crown tank who vapes 4 tanks a day, and the average
tanks?
the average nicotine absorption off of a vapor who vapes 4 tanks out of a Crown a day ended up being in the ballpark of about 3 milligrams. 3 milligrams of actual nicotine absorbed through the lungs. Now people talk about, you know, nicotine causing hypoxia and all this other bullshit.
Nicotine is in anything that's grown from the ground. Research how much nicotine is in a tomato. You know,
Well, I brought you
Eggplant.
sliced. I brought them sliced tomatoes tonight, by the way.
We're gonna get our nicotine fixed.
Yeah, you're gonna get your nicotine fixed. And does anybody else's wife incur injuries like this
Oh God.
This is what this
By-
show has turned into.
by
Well-
making her husband dinner?
I was
And
supposed
then-
to say, how did you occur that injury? Because that
They-
could
they
determine
have-
how many wives
They
you-
have sliced avocados, and I was holding the avocado, and I hit the
You
seed.
talking about the avocado RTA?
Yes, hit the seed with the knife. You know how you do? Yeah.
So do we need to
slipped.
get you some of them plastic
So
knives?
yes, and then you guys all saw the skin knee
I think he.
and
I think he
elbow
abuses her.
from when I lit the grill trying to make him dinner.
I think he's abusive.
Back to what JC
You
said. 'cause
understand why I called this show "What the Fuck"? And that is why, because I'm
So,
like, I don't know what's gonna happen
for
tonight,
dinner, you
but I know
guys-
it's gonna be "What the fuck."
You have beautiful grill marks. You know how I like
Scott's
to do.
not invited to eat any.
Adam, you said
No,
just
I'm
for
saying
He's
Scott's
right.
not invited to
No,
eat
there's
any.
plenty. He
Well,
can't.
Might go in business with the bastard, but he ain't eat my food.
There you go.
He can eat. No, you know what? I give him permission. This gives him permission.
Here you
Look
go.
at Scott's face.
Anyway, so let's
Lost.
talk about. Yeah, we totally lost all the nicotine thing. The point JC was making is this right here. For all the people that It's just one more of those arguments. You got plenty of juice.
Okay.
It's just one more of those arguments that's out there by
Right,
the
your fault.
anti-vaping goons, let's call them, that you get all this hell of a lot of nicotine from vaping that you don't get from smoking.
Well,
and
that's
it's
all-
just not true.
And this all started with an argument
But-
with my brother Jordan, and any of y'all who know him know that he's that fucking guy that when he gets something in his head, no matter how fucking wrong he is, he'll argue the point for 20 hours.
If I'm
We don't
right,
know
I
anything
went to
about
do
that.
Right, so I went to do the research, and because he said he's not going to let his wife smoke or vape while she's pregnant, they're working on having a baby, and that's fine if that's a personal decision. But don't
That
make that decision off of propaganda when the actual risk is
Yep,
somewhere
just
in
trying
the
to be a little
ballpark
educated.
of 0.2%
I'm
is
gonna
the odds
tell
of
you,
causing
though,
any
from
respiratory
2 years,
problems.
I've been open what 2.5 years, somewhere around there. The nicotine levels have so drastic, and I'm not talking about max PG stuff. I'm talking about just my house line.
I started at
I don't-
24 milligrams.
I
My
don't-
granddad started at 36 milligrams
But I
in a
don't,
liter.
you know,
We're
I
down
bet
to
I don't
3.
sell one or maybe two 18 and 24s
Well, even
every
12s
couple
are
weeks.
rare. Even
Yeah.
12s
Well,
are rare.
we still have people on a
We
regular
have
basis.
what, maybe 1 to 2
But
out
I
of
know who
40
they
to
are.
50 today. Yeah.
And matter of fact, I have one, and she's been on 24 forever, and I finally talked her to take a
Are
12.
we talking about Dina?
What?
No,
Wait,
Dina was
wait,
vaping.
What
But-
the fuck? Okay, hang on. But the whole point of that was just to say when they done the scientific studies that compared the effects of nicotine to caffeine, a cup of caffeine or a Mountain Dew, 50 milligrams of nicotine, bioavailability from something swallowed is somewhere in the neighborhood of 30%. Okay, so you're talking about 15 milligrams of caffeine consumed when you drink a canned Mountain Dew. Okay, I vape 6 milliliters or whatever, however much is in this tank. My absorption of nicotine through this tank is literally less than 1 milligram of nicotine. Compare that to 15 milligrams of caffeine, which literally molecule to molecule have the exact same effect. I mean, you're talking about 15 times less dangerous than caffeine.
So there's
Making
some
this
point. I
tank of
mean, for
juice.
those of y'all that are watching, these are some good points you can use to talk to people that are going to give you those scary
question
stories
for you.
about vaping.
I have an 84-year-old customer, Melvin. He was one of my first customers. The day he walked in the shop, he said that the doctor told him he was on die if he smoked another cigarette, he'd be dead by Christmas. That was in February when he came in March, over 2 years ago. And doctor told him the other day that he would live many more years because he vapes now. Well,
Twins.
he was stuck on 12.
Yeah.
Twins.
Well, I started tricking him. And we
There
were
you
giving
go.
him
Placebo effect.
we were giving him 9,
Yeah.
and he didn't know it.
Yeah.
Then we were giving him 6.
So
and
you're
I-
stepping him down.
Well, no, we got him all the way to 0 before he knew it. and then finally, after about a month or so of him being at 0, I told him, and I had to move him back up because in his mind,
Yeah.
but it just
I
proves
think I
that-
do the same thing because I've tried to go to 1.5 and 0, and
Yeah.
I don't believe in the 1.5
I think it's
because
totally in my mind. I
Just
mean, I cannot
commit.
do
Just
it.
commit.
No,
Be
this
a
is the thing
3
about-
or a 0.
Well, no, but this is the thing. The standard they say for the nicotine level being right in the juice is 3 up or 3 down.
Yeah.
Okay, so if that's the case, that means when you buy a 3, it could be a 0, or it could be a 6.
No.
Well, 3. So
I mean,
if you're
I make
1.5
juice. I know if I'm making 100 milliliters of juice and I'm using 100
You know, the
milligrams per
sad thing
milliliter,
is
I
to
need
say,
3
Scott-
milliliters in that
Scott
fucking
brings
bottle.
up-
I mean, there's no plus or minus 3 in that scenario.
Scott brings
Am I
up
right,
a-
Pam?
I
Scott
agree
brings
with
up
you.
a good point. Scott brings up this point right here, though, and I'll talk about this because I was talking with Debbie Gillen here a while back and actually got to talk with Pimp a little bit about it when she was here.
Someone called it what the
There's
fuck?
actually been a lot of companies that were tested out there that their nicotine was so far off of what they were putting in a bottle just because there are people, like we talked about up front, that are making juice in their house, that don't know basic math, that
or don't
understand how
know
mix
to test
things.
the bottle of nicotine. The bottle of nicotine might not be
Yeah.
100.
That's
It
why
might
you
be
need to
99.
make sure you buy nicotine
Reputable
from a
sources.
reputable source that comes with a data sheet that's been tested. Somewhere like, and I'll tell y'all right now, me and Pam and JC, I believe
you have
get
to
all our
adjust
nicotine
that
from
in
the
your
same place
calculation,
from
too.
Nicotine River, exactly. It comes
Well-
with a data sheet. It comes with a source. It's been tested. You know what you're getting. Now, if you're just going out there and buying nicotine from Joe Blow's vape shop in Arizona,
I got
y'all
it.
know who I'm talking about. You
Well,
never
I
know what
found-
you're getting. It's
Hey,
not-
did you see what Dina said? It took Scott over a year to get me off of 24, Nick.
But this accidentally led into a really good point. the industry does need regulation.
Yes.
Because of this,
And I think we
actually
all
we're talking
agree with
about,
that.
it
We
does
all
need
agree with that.
regulation.
I got a question for you. What about this? I found, and I ordered a bunch of them. You can order little tubes of nicotine, okay?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the whole tube, if you add to a 0,
Uh-huh.
would make it a 15 ml bottle would make it a 6.
They have to be a real small tube.
It is. I'll bring them in here. So
Or a real low dose of
Ampoule?
nicotine.
Yeah, or
Like I
Plus
say,
10,
you get a-
10%.
You get a real low, yeah, you get a real low
So,
dose of nicotine.
and it tells it comes with, you're supposed to give a sheet with everybody. So if you wanted to make a 1/2, you'd put, a quarter or whatever. So I bought a bunch of them. The reason I did is because it's FDA. It says on the bottle. I'll have to bring it in here. FDA approved.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually been on the market for longer than I thought they had. Before they were used, I don't know what they were exactly used for, and I'm still researching. And you'll help me with this.
Figure out what you need an ampule of fucking nicotine for. I have no clue.
I don't either, but it says on the bottle FDA approved. So
That's
therefore,
interesting.
why can't I sell zeros and then people can buy?
No, your zeros are not tobacco products.
You know what? We're gonna come back with an answer for that next week.
I want to figure
We're
that
gonna
out.
research it. Let me rephrase that. JC's gonna research this, and I'm gonna come back acting like I got the answer for it.
Right.
And take all the credit, because that's what AC Miller does.
Just
That's
like
why I
the-
love him.
The 7 hours I spent researching nicotine absorption and bioavailability, I had to throw it in the middle of what the fuck?
But you was talking about the nicotine being up and down. When I first started making juice, Scott taught me. He said, you buy the test kit,
Hey, hit the mouse, dude.
Oh shit!
and
What
you
happened?
can test your nicotine when it
Oh,
comes
still going.
in. You test it yourself to make sure that you're getting what you're paying for.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that since
And
day
how,
one.
but how, and when you get your nicotine in, how many times is it dead on what they tell you? Or if you buy 100, is it 100?
Nicotine rivers, literally plus or minus
Nicotine
1 or
river?
2%.
Yeah, but
It's like-
that's a lot though when you're mixing. If you're mixing a gallon of juice,
No. 1%. 1% off of 100 milligrams per
Yeah,
milliliter.
theirs would be like
So if you're
instead of
making a
being-
3, you might end up with a 2.997.
I had never
Literally,
had it
you know.
below. I've had it like 1.1,
Yeah.
101.1,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Right.
But with the other company that I used to get, it would be like as much as 107.
and that's why I told you to start doing that, because this is the problem I was having. I was having juice companies, and it was some reputable juice companies and I randomly pull juice off my shelf, and Pam will tell you this, and I test nicotine level in it. If it's sold in my store, I'm gonna test it randomly, and they
didn't
were
hit
all
that.
over the place.
You love that
Yeah.
box?
Oh, you should have heard Russ.
And,
When you see the replay, you'll see.
And I went to Gordon Tinsley
I was making y'all
with
do it.
the owns Earth Bounty, and I asked him. I said, and he's the one that taught me. And then I started. I taught
scratch.
1810. They
Yeah.
need to do that. I mean, because I'd rather somebody teach somebody how to do it right than for somebody to get hurt and then.
Yeah, Lisa's got to make her exit. We got children who are starving.
She has one of the prettiest boxes I think also that's been made. Have you shown it? Has it been seen on
Yeah,
camera?
pretty box.
She said she got a pretty mind
Adam,
too.
stop. I didn't say that. I didn't
I heard
say that,
her.
y'all.
Hey, listen, I'm just going to throw this out there. I told Adam he should have on the inside of that box engraved the prettiest box for the prettiest box. But let's show it to the camera. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Let me get over to the Zoom. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. Flip it around.
That
there
better
just a
be
little
you,
bit.
Scott.
Turn it around sideways. Just one of the most gorgeous
Did
boxes
you say it
Adam's
better
ever
be?
made. Absolutely amazing.
I love the
And then-
etching on the sides of it.
I mean, Adam says it's so easy to do that too.
And of course this.
The setup's the main thing.
That's where I said they etched the prettiest box from my prettiest box.
But the best part that none of you guys have,
Uh-oh.
you won't be able to see it.
What are we gonna do?
No.
What the hell are we
Smart
doing
now.
here?
She's doing something crazy here.
Do I need
She's
to
gonna
be
break
on
the
Zoom?
camera.
Yeah.
She's definitely gonna fall.
Oh shit. What is that?
Recognize it?
Oh my god, look at that! That's unbelievable.
Same signature as in the box.
You got Adam's signature on the back of
Just
your
mine.
neck. Hey, I've got my wife's nicknames and initials all over me, and so I hide them in my tattoos. My wife's nickname. I put Sweet Pea on Rebecca's box when I did that design. Like I'll show you. I got SPs Like,
Oh, that's cool.
In like almost every tattoo I've got, every tattoo I've gotten since we got together, I put an SP in somewhere. That's awesome, you guys.
So y'all learned about tattoos. We've learned about cooking injuries.
This is just what the fuck.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
And we're having fun with the show. If y'all are not watching, it's cool. We're having fun with the show.
But
I'm going to the
had,
Sam
now we had
Gilmore
another.
tomorrow.
We kind of started to plan this a little bit.
All right, you guys. I gotta go. I love you. Y'all take care of each other and be kind, okay?
Double McDonald.
I don't know. They might be
Lisa, it was so great to have you on the show. You definitely got to come again.
I thought you were fixing to tase me.
That would have been hilarious. Oh, I would have pissed my pants
I mean,
laughing.
I know who you're married to.
I mean, him, yeah.
Oh.
Is that like a shocker thing?
No,
No.
it's just an elephant that screams.
Just say hello.
I really did think she was fixing to tase me.
I thought it was a taser too.
Anyway, well, back to vape stuff.
Back to vape still.
I
What
don't
the
even
fuck,
know what we're
man?
going to talk about.
What the fuck? No, we clones. We was
Right,
going to
yeah,
talk
see
about
what
clones. A little clone history.
Yeah, let's have a little clone debate. What do you? Let's just start off with this. What do you think about clones in general, JC?
So say if the far left is they're Satan, and the far right is I'll only buy clones. So 10 is Satan, 0 is only buy clones. I'm like somewhere in around like a 3 or a 4.
I'm probably around an 8 or a 9 on the other side.
But here's the thing, and I remember when the attack of the clones started, and it happened over. Many of you guys know Rip Tripper. Back in the day when he was making his first atomizer before he was a YouTube celebrity and then sold out to water companies because of dry knuckles. Before all that, he made the AC9. And the AC9 was, and I believe today still is, the best Genesis atomizer that was ever made. Well, there was a few companies, and many of you guys maybe know of the RSST.
That's a pretty healthy compliment for such a douchebag, man.
Yeah, it's don't say. But there were several companies that started to sell before it was called the RSST. They were calling it an AC9 clone.
Okay.
And I remember I spent 2 hours on the phone with Hilton trying to convince him that this is not. I had one in my hand. I had an AC9 and I had a clone AC9, which ended up being renamed the RSST. And I'm like, they're nowhere close to the same product. They're nowhere close to the same quality. There's no way this is going to hurt your business. If people buy this $50 piece of shit at the time versus your $200 really good quality atomizer, if anybody ever sees them side by side or feels the difference, then they're going to know that these clones are not going to hurt your business. So that's where I kind of moved to. I was moving to the idea that clones have a spot in the market because they're vapors who, at the time, to get a good vape back then, man, I remember spending literally $1,000 to get a good quality mod, a good quality Genesis. It was just, the $600 to $800 price range was where it was at for a good vape.
Yeah.
And so, what about the guy that can't save up $600 to buy a fucking quality vape? Okay. So, now there's a $50 Genesis, and nothing below $200 even existed. I remember like the Ithaca, the Odysseus, the Penelope,
And there's a
Doodlebug,
difference in junk clones
yeah,
and
absolutely. And the RSST, you can still buy them today because it is not a bad product. You can go right now and buy RSSTs. And that tells you that's 4 years ago, that thing. So it was a decent thing. But it wasn't an AC9.
Let me give you my
Near
side of the clones
quality.
and why I'm not going to say staunchly against them, but
Yeah.
at a little later date than what you're talking about is when I got into it. And of course, this is when the Panzer by MCV was kind of the hot ticket on the market.
Right.
And you had the Panzer. That wasn't a super expensive mod. You could pick one up between $1 and $1.50. Okay, an authentic Panzer mod. Nowadays you might spend a little more for some earlier sale numbers, but you can still get a nice authentic Panzer for $1.25 probably.
Yeah.
At the time, though, we started having these clones come out, and they were junk. I mean, they were junk, and they were being sold for $15, $20, and
so they were being sold as junk too.
they were being sold as junk, and they were being sold this junk that was being sold for $10 from China was being marketed as authentic MCV.
For the same reason you're going into business.
Completely polluted the market.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm so against clones and cloners, and even now. Every day it's not a day that doesn't go by I don't get on Facebook and see somebody trying to sell, and just MCV mainly because that's what I've always been into. And I can spot one of those clones a mile away. There's not a day I get on Facebook that I don't see somebody, even on like Northeast Mississippi pages that are right here, trying to sell fake ass MCV for high money, and
now,
people are still getting took by it.
That's perfectly good
But
logic.
I've
and a
never
perfectly good
sold. I've
position.
never sold a clone that
That's
I
right.
didn't
They
tell
didn't
somebody.
tell them it was a clone.
Yeah.
So, where me, I really, kind of lashed on to goddamn real good clones can't exist is when H Cigar, and I don't know what they're doing today, but 3 years ago there was a mod called the Chi Yu, okay, and I fucking loved the Chi Yu.
By Megan?
By who?
Wasn't it a Megan Chi Yu?
No, it was I can't remember the guy's name
I know,
anymore. But the Chi Yu was like a Caravella. It was one of the most sought after things in the world. And to get a Chi Yu, which it was modular, you could do 18350, 500, 490, or 650. But to get one, it was impossible. Price gouging was ridiculous. They would be out there people would be selling them for $600 fucking dollars for a damn tube. Okay, and idiots like me bought them. Okay, but then H Cigar comes out with literally a 1-to-1 fucking perfect, dead nuts on, could not side by side tell the difference.
Even
and
I
I'm
was told
telling
they
you
were
what,
made in the same warehouse as what I was told.
and they were $30. You know what? And it was a good device. It had all silver and brass contacts. It was made heavy. I mean, you could not tell the difference. And back then, the contacts was everything, right? You needed a volt. People today don't even know what the word a voltage drop is.
Yeah.
Remember the hammer mod?
Who know? Yeah, well, that was Kato.
That was the biggest voltage
people
drop
today
ever.
don't even know what voltage drop was. But back in those days, to see that H Cigar come out with that product for $30 made me realize just how horrible this price gouging was and this exclusivity things was. And now everything's so open. And something like this, you might catch artisan value to this down the road because it's it's something custom. But seeing like even these stab wood mods, that fucking piece of stab wood I got out there that I can turn into a $500 mod, that piece of wood costs $40 goddamn dollars. Now it's gonna take 12 hours to get it in shape, but is that worth $6 grand? Is it worth $6,000 to sell that mod?
No.
No, it's absolutely absurd. And something
It's
like
worth
that, 400.
If there's somebody that will pay that for it,
No.
then it is worth that.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, it's
then
not.
you're telling me that a Lamborghini's worth $400,000?
Absolutely, with the tolerances and
Don't
the
bring up the
precision-
Lamborghini. The
precision-
Lamborghini
no,
is something that
no.
just destroyed my life,
But no,
okay?
I'll get into
I kept a
Lamborghini.
Lamborghini poster for like 15
Listen,
years in my
I'll
room,
get
and
into
then I got to
Lamborghini
drive
because
one.
But it's worth
tolerance-
that much because people will pay that much
No,
for it.
but it's also the engineering, the level of tolerance,
Okay, but what about the
level of
engineering of that
quality.
piece of wood?
That
Not
people-
any man can take that piece of
I
wood and
could
turn it
do-
into something.
Okay, fair enough. Let's say that it's realistically when you get and what Jason's talking
$59.95.
about. But obviously, we
I'm
make
talking
the
about 12
box
hours of
3,000.
labor to make that into a $400, $500 mod.
And I
Also,
think that's
and
fair.
then-
They
and,
said read
with,
comments.
with
Except the one that says where Scott's a douchebag. and
oh, Chris Anderson, I was right. I just don't agree,
Guys,
man.
it
I
was
just
market-
really
But
don't
you
agree.
see what I'm saying?
You're right,
paying
James.
for
Let
somebody's
me say,
craftsmanship.
I'm going to be kind of halfway in between y'all right here because
You're in
I
between me and
feel.
JC.
I'm not saying some.
I
No,
say
listen. I
the
seen
market does determine what something's worth. Period. I mean, I'll give you a
But you're
good
paying for
example.
somebody's craftsmanship.
The-
You're paying for what they can do
No,
with
no,
their
no.
hands.
I'm
I
not.
can't do it.
I'm not talking about what the manufacturer's selling them for. I'm talking about what these people who buy them and then go to resell them for.
Okay, if I told you I'd give you $1,000 like mine, would you take it?
Well, no, because
You
it's
wouldn't.
more than that special to me. It absolutely.
No, but I'm just okay. But what I'm saying is, if I told you I'd give you $1,000 this mod and you owned it, would you not take that $1,000?
I'm talking about what people list them for, not what they're actually selling them for. That's what price gouging is. It's putting something so out of reach of somebody something so out of reach that it actually hurts somebody to be able to save up.
Or
and
is
buy.
putting it just before it's out of reach to somebody.
Still on $10
Which
item.
kind of
I
goes,
know-
it kind of
I
goes
know what
back
you're
to our
saying.
original
I'm just trying to be a
conversation.
devil's advocate.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to our original conversation. We got a tobacco store here in town, and I'll put them on blast all the time. I don't mind them knowing. They sell C4 blister packs for $45.
$2
They're $1.79.
$1.79.
$1.79 with an extra clear miser.
So is that any more right than somebody who bought a mod for $500
It's worse.
and then turned around and sold and listed it for $6,000
It's worse to me
to have
because
somebody
that's
have to
a
reach
business.
to try to
Yeah,
get it?
exactly.
And I want people to think of my business as a place they can feel secure. They're not getting ripped off. So when you
No,
take
I'm with you on that. Yeah, we're together on
because
that.
it's worse
Yeah.
to me for a business
Yeah,
to do
we're
it than for an
100%.
individual because
There you go.
Yeah.
But I'm not actually referring to individuals. What I'm talking about is the clone market, especially quality clones, brought those items into the reach of the
I
average
agree.
person.
Yeah.
Right? So you take right now, you can buy I got a wholesale list from someplace in China that had a really good price on a what appeared to be a nice stab wood box with a 75 watt chip in it, and it was something that would be reasonably priced. There are people that'll pay for the artisan quality that will be in this box that'll be $400 or $500. But there are also people who like that look, who kind of want to be part of that club, and it still can be. And manufacturers do make quality things that is a quote unquote clone, maybe just slightly different.
But I love how
And I'm glad that they're in
Lamborghini
the
looks.
market.
I love how
But
Lamborghini looks, but I
on the
can't.
other
Let's
side,
go back to
on
this.
the other
There's
side,
just
there are
some
shitty
things-
clones out there. There are
not just the
absolutely
clowns
are.
part of it. If you're talking about spending excessive money on a mod, and I'm one to talk about this. Okay.
Oh,
And any of you that know, I think David Star Shadow's on here right now. If anybody's ever seen my entire MCB collection, I had well over 15 grand in that collection. I had most all the serial number ones. I've still got a couple of one-offs. I've got number
Most
950 LE. That was just something that was important to me. I
Absolutely.
remember when I first wanted to find an LE, and those are impossible to find. They're
Sure.
number 900 and 999. That was all that was made, and there's only like 30 of them that you can actually find that you know who owns them. How I finally got mine was I put $1,000, $1,000 bills on the table, and 2 brand new overdose mods, and said, "Find me a LE. You can keep what's left out of it if I can have it."
Yeah.
And that was a mod that sold for about $100.
And
that's worth it. That was worth it to me at the time. I wanted that for my collection. The Cherry Bomber, the number 1 copper Cherry Bomber. Do you know that the second person that bought that spent $8 grand on it? $8 grand on it.
But the thing is,
No, I
like,
gave much
when-
less than that because it wasn't worth that much to me.
When JC's talking about when things were just really so expensive, clones were an option for the average person. Today,
we weren't the
you can
average
get-
person in that market.
You can get authentics cheaper than you can clones now.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I will. Let me go back to this point right here. I have yet to see, and I will challenge anybody watching this that rewatches this video or anything. Try to find a Panzer clone that I can't make out.
That you
I'll
can't. You can't
dare
just
you.
see it just from a picture.
I'll dare you.
Nah.
I'll dare you.
But when it comes to clones now, I have a position on. I think they have a place in the market. I'm glad that they're in the market, especially if there are vendors like you and you. Like I remember the day that I came in here, because Pam's got my serial number 4 Stingray. In the case, I looked and I saw a Stingray, and the first thing I said was, "Man, that Stingray's fucking amazing." Do you know what Adam's first words to me were? "It's really, really nice mod, but it's a clone, just so you know."
Well, that's how you
And shop owners have to do that. They
Man, I'm
have
good.
to do that.
Matter of fact, I got rid of an employee one time because it was his mod that he was trying to pass off to somebody.
And
I
I
can
knew,
promise
and I
you
knew it
this,
was a clone
I
because,
will-
like I said, I had serial number 4 sitting at the house that now Pam has.
In my personal life and in my shop, if I had an employee that sold it, I'm sure you feel the same way, Scott. If I had somebody that took a clone and sold it for an authentic, they would be fired so fucking fast.
Absolutely.
It was
No,
like the
that's
best
what
thing.
happened. I mean, he had,
That is one thing that gets to me in my guts, man. And that's why I'll say something about it. I don't care if it's Northeast Mississippi Vapors or any other page. If I see a clone getting sold for an authentic, you bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna say something.
I think me and you both have called out a certain person on
Yeah.
that buy, sell, and trade that keeps doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just
Having
but
said
it
that-
it comes to it kind of all comes to the point that I made that me and my friend Sean Casey, the CEO of Flavor Art Distribution in the U.S. Back in those days, to get a good vape, to chase that perfect vape, you would spend $600-700. But now you can come in a shop, a good quality shop with honest owners, and spend $50 or $60
And the perfect vape
just to
back
get started.
then,
Oh my God!
compared to the perfect vape
Perfect
compared to today is
Oh,
two totally different things.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And
that
so-
Lotus twist right there with that crappy theorem on it
Man,
would have
if
blew
you
anything on the
would have
market
told
for
me
you. Yeah.
a year and a half, nearly 2 years ago, that I would be selling 200-watt mods on a daily, I'd tell you you're so full of shit.
Absolutely.
Because I remember when the 40-watt Hannah came out, and man, it was a freaking.
Oh my
just,
God! And there was $250 goddamn dollars.
I know.
And I've got one at the house right now that someone gave me. Because it was a piece.
It's a
It
clone,
was.
don't
It
play.
is. No, it's
No, I
authentic.
know.
I pulled the chip. It's a real DNA chip. But I remember getting on the list for a DNA 30 Hannah for $250. And the other day, Mike Jones gave me one that was 3 years old and fucking busted, and now you can buy them for
I think I
$80.
gave it to Mike Jones.
It's just crazy.
I think I gave that to
Ask
Mike
him
Jones.
who bought one of the first Vapor Shark DNA 40s that he got in the store.
Yeah,
Chris
I got
Peacock.
one too. I got one at the
Let me
house.
address a couple of these things real quick because I see things coming down through here. Talking about trademarks, things like that. There have been American manufacturers that have trademarked their designs and has not helped them at all. It is damn near impossible to chase down a lawsuit with somebody in China, and it's even a further stretch to try to sue somebody who bought from China and sold here. It's damn near impossible. It's been threatened. I remember the
Well, our copyright trademark laws don't mean anything.
yeah the Manhattan mod, if y'all remember, that was a big deal. And he was going to sue everybody, and he was going to fuck everybody in the ass that sold clones, and it's just not doable. I don't care if you get all the money in the world.
Store that sells nothing but Manhattan clones because of that.
And Chris Peacock, if you want an MCV box mod, hit me up, man. I've got some genuine, authentic cherry bombers out here that I will let go on the low, man. Like I say, I had one nasty, huge collection, and I've still got some really nice ones.
Yeah, the last point, trademark was brought up. Now, I was very against the AC9 clone, but then they renamed it the RSST, and it was a great fucking little device. Now, again, China is not going to respect copyright or trademark laws in the United States. And so, and customs isn't going to stop them from coming in.
That's right.
So it just comes to having to do with business.
Well, you know, you take like junk. There are good companies in China.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you take people like Fast Tech.
Oh yeah,
That was oh man. I mean, they were selling stuff. I know
Fast Tech has been the scourge.
Well, I know
of
somebody
business
that
for
was
years,
buying
dude.
stuff off Fast Tech. And was paying, next to nothing for them, and then selling them out the trunk of his car for, I mean, just outrageous things. And
you're talking about makes juice.
yeah.
I remember that selling them as authentic out of the back of his car.
And then
Anyway.
and everybody wonders why. And you remember when I started doing this, I used to have to take my mods and mark the inside the tube of them with an engraver. This is one first because there were so many people selling stuff that out the trunk of their car, and then when it messed up, they would bring it to me.
Right.
And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I do it just out of the kindness of my heart because I felt bad for them. I'd replace it.
Well, Adam ran
But
into a
you
lady
can't
the
do
other
it,
day,
too.
and he tried to help. And some people, though, you just can't help.
Yeah, and I'll tell y'all that story real quick. A woman come in here, somebody sold her a Prado, not Prado, what was that damn thing called? A Kong. You remember the Kong model? They had sold her like the worst Kong cologne I've ever seen in my life. The damn spring was collapsing in the bottom of it. The lock was galled shut. This thing was a disaster. It was literally worth $0.
Right.
They had sold her this damn thing for $20 and sold her an old Enigma RDA, the old style with the little bitty pinholes in it, and it had balls of wire in it. Not coils, balls of wire in it. And she came in here and said, I need a battery for this. And I said, okay. I went to get her a battery, and then I said, well, can I look and see what you got? She showed it to me. I said, ma'am, I can't in good conscience sell you a battery for this thing. And I explained to her all the reasons why, and I said, why don't we get over here and look at something and get you something if you want to start vaping. She said, because that's what she said. I really want to start doing this, so let's come there and look at something. I can't afford anything else. I said, well, let's look and find you something else. No, I want to use this tube mod.
But it was
Who I
unusable. It was
Yeah,
unusable.
and she said, I just want a battery for it. I
It's
said,
a
ma'am,
bomb.
I'm not going to sell you a battery for this. And my exact words were, I said, ma'am, if you were any younger, I would take that mod away from you and throw it in the garbage can, but I'm
It
not
was
going to
a pipe
disrespect
bomb.
you. Yeah.
It was a pipe
She
bomb.
would not hear it. And she said, was there anywhere else in town that sells batteries? And I said, there is another place in town that sells batteries for these. If you put one of those batteries in there, it is going to rupture. And the batteries they sell are not good batteries. They're made for flashlights, and it is going to blow up. She did not want anything for free. She didn't want to hear what I had to say.
Tried to give her stuff, tried to give her advice, tried to do anything in this world to
But
keep from
I
blowing
can
this woman's
guarantee you
head
that
up.
she went to the tobacco shop and bought a Trustfire battery, and they slapped that son of a bitch in there for her. And there's, I'm hoping it just didn't work.
Did you go to sleep one night?
The firing pin was so wore out in it. I'm hopeful that it didn't fire at all.
The point of that all comes down to know your shop, know the people that's there. Spend some time with them, and then you'll find out in minutes if you just really sit down and talk to the owner or talk to the people behind the counter. You'll find out
What's
what their
better than that?
motivations are, what's behind them,
What's
and
better than that is thinking, who some of my best sellers are? Customers are just sitting in my store.
absolutely. I remember back before Adam got here, I hung out in your store and spent as much time behind the counter selling stuff. To
And then
folks
you
than I
got
did out
introduced
front.
to a nice shop, and you hadn't been back. That's
No,
a great
He
story.
actually comes there every day.
He
Before
does
comes here.
not. Are you cheating on me, you bastard?
No,
But Chrissy,
that's true though. That is true.
a
That
good
is true,
point,
though.
though.
But that's what my store. That's what I wanted my store about. Have you ever seen me tell somebody to get out from behind my counter? They're helping a customer
Absolutely
now.
not.
But because people look at me, like he's a businessman, he's a trader trying. But if the customer is sitting on the outside of the bar says, "Hold on, let me help
Absolutely.
you."
It is an effective way to do business because when vapors are selling something to other vapors, especially not getting paid, I didn't give a shit. I wouldn't give a shit about getting paid. I cared about folks walking out with something good.
Yep.
And so seeing vape shops who allow that to even happen, it's an amazing thing. Let somebody who works there handle the money. That's sure that but when it comes to helping a customer out if she gets busy,
I've actually been in a vape store before and heard I don't know if it's the owner or the manager or what, say, tell another customer, I've got this. Yeah. And the guy was actually helping giving good. Now, I have stopped people before because they were giving bad information.
Absolutely. No, but in your shop, you know who those people are.
Yeah.
So anyway, allowing that to happen, that's something else you see in a great shop. But anyway, we've gone over.
Sorry about
and this has been what the fuck?
I don't know what all I broke, but I guess I'll find out here in a second.
I'm gonna watch this back, and this was absolute madness. But it was so fucking
Well, I hope
fun.
y'all enjoyed it a little bit. We enjoyed it. I did anyway.
enjoyed
Glad
the
Lisa
shit
stopped
out
in
of
at a
it.
house full. Next week, we'll get back on track with some topics.
We'll have
hot topics.
We'll have some content next
I want
week.
you to
We'll
find
talk a little bit more.
I'm gonna research those
tomato,
nicotine ampules.
and I'll send you the link to the thing.
And we got a few things coming up. Let me go over this real quick. A flea market this weekend in Tupelo.
Yep.
Probably all four of us will be there at some point.
I'm gonna bring my mannequin.
Pam's gonna be there all weekend. Yeah, please do. I love that kid. Anyway, he's a sweetie.
No, my mannequin.
I thought you said your manager. I
David,
thought you were talking about David. He's a little sweetheart.
You mentioned the cloud comp.
The Cloud Comp is 2 weeks from this weekend.
Okay.
So next weekend, next Saturday, we're gonna have a cookout here. Hot dogs, hamburgers. Y'all come by and
Who's
grab
cooking?
something. Actually, Bill is.
Okay.
And then the weekend after that, on Friday evening, correct?
We could
8:30.
Can I get a
We're gonna
steak?
do it a little later this time, so people have time to
I
get
want
off
to
work,
start
go
planning.
home.
I want to start planning a vape meat pool party or something in my house.
Sounds good.
Because
Yeah.
I can handle 30
I
people.
got. We hadn't decided when we're gonna do it, but of course y'all more than welcome to be involved in it. I'm gonna do a crawfish bowl.
That's where Bill Green. That's where I met them. Is I did one at my house here a few years back. We had I don't know, up maybe around 20 people show up for it. It was just a little vape meat swimming party.
Hadn't had
And
Bill
had a great
around
time.
much lately, man. That's one of them that's
I'm
been
gonna-
hating, man.
Yeah.
Been hating
I'm gonna
hard.
do
Well, you don't do that.
Amazing.
But anyway, that's something I want to plan. With Amazing and
Well, we're gonna do a crawfish bowl
Yeah.
at the store one Saturday.
But I
just
want to
to
work on
kinda-
planning that.
That'd be awesome,
A little,
man.
Because to me,
pool
that
party
stuff
vape
is,
meat.
it ain't about charging people $5 a plate. It's about the
Yeah, we
camaraderie,
ain't charging
the-
anybody anything.
You know what
Y'all
I'm saying?
come
It's
over
about
and
the.
Yeah, it's
I
not
bought
about
a soft
business
serve
stuff.
ice cream machine.
Yep.
Hopefully I have it up and going.
Anyway, and y'all stay tuned.
Could get your
Me
vape
and
ice
Scott
cream.
at some point will be announcing another grand opening in Tupelo. Hope we have a good turnout for that. I know we'll have a good turnout for that.
I'll be there.
Now the cloud comp will be regulated and outlawed.
We're gonna do 2 classes this time.
Alright.
We're gonna do regulated and not. What we're probably gonna do is an outlaw class where you can use your regulated
Yeah.
boxes. Some people are gonna want to use 2 300-watt mods, something like that. And then we're gonna do a mechanical class.
Yeah.
But it may not be similar to last time where you had to use a single battery tube
Do
mod.
old school.
We
My
may.
Allow series.
we-
Just a mechanical.
It's going to have to be a mechanical device. We may not limit that to single batteries, though. We may not even limit
I
it
think
to
you need to
dual
do an
parallel.
old school, like you can't build below. I remember when
Well, that's
a
what we
one
did
on
here
call
last
was
time.
like the best.
Oh,
you know?
one on call,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? Just
Dude, I was the first person in the world to put a video online below of a sub-ohm coil, and it was a .23 ohm coil that my wife built and 20 gauge wire.
But you know what
it
I'm
was
saying?
called Extreme Vaping Experience.
Anyway, in the regulated class, Pound, what we're going to do, we're not going to have a build limit there. You can run whatever you want because it was you will have to have your regulated box checked here. So if you come in
Yeah.
with a wired up series mechanical box,
gotta
you're not
wrap
going
the
to use
chip
that.
in
Yeah,
there.
you're not going to use that for
a
the
bad
regulated.
motor box or something.
But
if
it's
you come
your build skills against the mechanics. That's all it is.
You know what I
that's-
think
yeah,
though?
exactly.
Cloud
You
no
come in-
electronics.
I think you ought to have to
Exactly.
build your clock. I think you ought to, when they ought to have to be handed the wire. And you
I
build
love
it right
that.
here.
I love that idea.
And that's all part of the cloud comp. If you're building your coal, everybody get 30
that.
minutes.
We may do that on the mechanical side of things. On the regulated, the reason I want to do a regulated competition is for people that are not necessarily deep into building and things that can come in, and if they want to use, say, a U-well tank, fine, come in and use
Well, I'm
that
just
and
saying-
give them a chance to
I'm just
compete.
saying
And then on the
because-
mechanical side, we may very well
Because
do that.
you know what? I could have JC build me. I might not be able to build shit, but I can blow big clouds. But You know, somebody come in and everybody starts building their coil at the same time.
Right.
They have the same amount of time to build the coil. Everybody has the same wire.
I love that idea because
That's
there's no telling who
That's
built
the
that
way
coil.
the
I
World
love
Series
that.
supply
I
cot
love
Well,
that.
that changes the whole spectrum of stuff.
Because you're right. I could build you something down to
You
like
could have spent 2 weeks
down
building
to like
it, you know?
0.02 or something, some crazy fucking
Well,
dragon alien.
we're always
nut
going to have
coil.
that lower build limit. Say, even if we do that, if you come in with a series box, we have a build limit of 0.2. If you come in
Oh,
with
yeah.
a parallel
safety.
single battery, we're going to do a 0.1. And that's what I say. If you come in with a regulated box, true regulated box, which is what we
Whatever the
expect,
box can do.
whatever the box can do, because regulated boxes have safety.
And
built
that allows you
in.
to build down to 0.05.
You build me a
0.025.
500 watt box.
I guess.
If it's got a chip in
But
it,
we're
you
starting
can
at
provide it.
8:30, so all the folks from Tupelo that work in the vape shops can get over here and
Get off from starting
get off
line,
work
get
and
over
go
here,
to
get
Bill
over
to get over here.
We'll
It's not just your
Anyway,
shop.
hey,
Well,
let's
well,
wrap
yeah,
it. We got to wrap it up.
this
here.
up.
We went
We
way
will
too far.
we'll announce prizes next week.
Yeah, we'll put all this out, and we always
I'll
have
be one of the prizes for the ladies division.
We always have the
Guys,
best prizes here.
I just want to know, see it in chat. Do y'all agree with what I started with on the name of the show of What the Fuck? Because that's what we had. But you know what, Adam? Go ahead.
Hey, y'all, like we always say,
Gotta wait a while for this one.
hey, peace out, nomads.